What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I'm Darian, this is Jeremy, and we are D&J React. The question of the day is, will BTS survive with only 3 members? And that's what we're going to be jumping into today because I don't know, so that's why we have this video here. But this is about BTS's military plan, so
this will be interesting.
I've been wondering a lot, like how that whole dynamic is going to work out with some of the members gone, but I'm sure they'll figure it out.
I mean, so far we know some of them are doing solo projects and stuff, so I think that's going to keep it going temporarily. And then I think it was 2025 they get out, so they'll be back as a collective group and back on stage.
2025 isn't that far away.
It'll go by fast.
Yeah. All right, guys. Before we jump in, I want to thank all of our Patreons and everybody at GoFundMe. You guys have been a massive help. I know I say it every video, but I feel like it's
really
not enough.
Appreciate it.
Yeah. And also, so on our Patreon, we're going to be dropping 4 new videos every single week on Patreon that are not going to be on YouTube.
Yep.
So exclusive content, some articles over there that we're not putting on YouTube either. So we got a ton of content coming over there. I think 180 videos a year that are not on YouTube.
Oh, yeah.
So we got a lot of content over there, and we're also giving a week for free. So if you guys want to jump over to Patreon, see exclusive content,
go get your freebie.
It's a free week. All right, guys, let's jump right into it, not to waste any time.
BTS started in 2013 as a rap group. They're unmatched.
Nice to meet you, guy.
Their popularity is being compared to that of One Direction and their hater.
What happened there? Huh.
Okay.
Just like every boy band,
That was weird.
they have a massive
All right.
fan base.
Sorry about that, guys.
That's Rice Squad's problem.
Fans that you can find in the whole world. However, ARMY will most likely see the members of BTS join the South Korean army. You see, mandatory military service in South Korea has been around since 1948. The beginnings of South Korea as a country, this mandatory military service was so important for the new country of South Korea that it was put into its constitution as Article 39, which states that all citizens shall have the duty of national defense under the conditions as prescribed by Act. This means that all physically able men from 18 to 35 must perform military service. And while women can as well, they're not required the same way men are. And if you're at all familiar with the events in Korea that happened during the 50s, you understand why this is so important to them. And while the Korean War had a ceasefire agreement on July 27, 1953, it was exactly that, a ceasefire. The war, technically, never ended. Because of South Korea's unique relationship with their neighbors to the north, an active military has been deemed necessary, always ready in case of a surprise attack. Something that, as a possibility, has never left the minds of South Koreans.
Damn, dude, really? It's still, the war is still going on, or the potential threat of
Probably
war?
potential threat of it. They're not in war right now.
Why, dude? I mean, North Korea, like, they have their own shit going. Like, they have, their people on lock. Like, why would they want to come over to South Korea where everybody's, like, doing their own thing and it's not, like, I don't know. I feel like it would just be such a pain in the ass for Kim Jong-un to come over to South Korea and try to dictate everything and bring people into that same mindset of the people in North Korea. I feel like it'd be such a...
As a dictator, that's what you want. You want control over everything and everyone around you. So he would also gain their resources, their land, their people.
True. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, now the whole military thing makes sense.
Why do we say December 4,
why it's so important.
2020? Well, on August 1st, 2018, the South Korean government made a shocking announcement. The required age at which all able-bodied males must enlist was dropped from 30 to 28. This means that when the oldest member of BTS, Jin, turns 28 on December 4th, 2020, he will be required to enlist, according to South Korean law. Well, the first problem is that even before enlisting, there's an issue that prevents candidates aged 25 to 27 to only a total of 5 trips in the course of 2 years, and each trip is limited to a maximum of 6 months. Thankfully, another announcement by the South Korean government was made in September of 2018, reducing the length of required military service for conscripted soldiers who enlist in 2020 and after. The Army and Marines are reduced from 21 months to 18 months. The Navy is reduced from 23 months to 20 months, and the Air Force is reduced from 24 months to 22 months. So really, this is the best time for our boys to join the military. If this is news to you, this whole process may seem a bit archaic. The only countries with mandatory military service longer than South Korea are Singapore at 2 years, Israel at 2 years and 8 months, and finally, North Korea at 10 years.
Oh my god.
10 years?
Bro.
Mandatory?
Mandatory. 10 years of your life, you have to be in the military for them.
I understand like 2-3 years, like mandatory, like everybody's
Doing your
their
duty,
part.
giving your,
Bro, I have to give away 10 years of my life?
Wow. That's intense.
Wild, dude.
So hold on one second here. So we have one of our Patreon members, and I won't say her name. I don't know if she wants me to say it or not, so I'm going to leave that out. But she did give us some information on their military, like some of the standards they have to go through in there.
Yeah.
Which is...
Like what?
So let's see what she was saying. Here's the criteria. So for shooting, and I'm trying to see, because she referenced this to one of the BTS members. I'm trying to remember who it was in here. Shoot. I'm sorry, guys. I'm trying to find the name of the member that went in the military that she was referring to. Anyways, I'll go with the stats for now. We'll get to the member in a minute. Anyways, this particular member went in, and for shooting, to hit the target, they require 20 hits. He got 18 out of 20. So only missed by 2. That's really impressive. Physical strengths, did 72 push-ups in 2 minutes, 86 ab crunches in 2 minutes, a 1.9 mile run in 12 and a half minutes, combat strength. Not quite sure what this is. It says rapid 6.2 mile march. That's with 55 pounds of gear. So 55 pounds of gear strapped to you, and you got to do 6.2 miles with that. Did that in 2.5 hours. Jogging, they do 3.1 miles individual, and that's carrying 33 pounds of weight on the uniform. Did that in 40 minutes. Then 20 leg tucks, battlefield circulation, so I'm not really sure exactly what that is. 260-yard shuttle run in 1 minute 2 seconds. And then they also have moral, spiritual education they have to go through. A minimum score of 90 he got out of 100.
Wow.
They also have guard duty skills and battle capacity skills they go through.
So out of the 2 that you mentioned on there, the 1.9 mile run at 12 and a half minutes is crazy, because that's 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, you know what that's like, man. You've done that in a competition before.
You have to do 6.5 minute mile each mile, like back to back.
Yeah.
So you have to keep that pace. And then the 6 mile ruck with 55 pounds is brutal, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty insane, man.
All right. Back to the video.
Let's do it.
Because of the constant tension between North and South Korea, we don't expect this law requiring mandatory service to be abolished anytime soon. There have been exemptions to military service, however, particularly when it comes to the athletics and the arts, such as Son Heung-min, a football player for Tottenham Hotspurs, and world-famous pianist Jo Sung-jin. In fact, despite its strict policies on mandatory military service, the South Korean government has introduced a staggering amount of exemptions for athletes. The first exemption was given to a wrestler, Yang Jung-mo, after the 1976 Summer Olympics, and afterward, an exemption was then promised to any athlete who won a medal in either the 1986 Asian Games or the 1988 Summer Olympics. In 2002, the same promise was made to the national team if they reached the round of 16 in the FIFA World Cup, and again to the 2006 national team in baseball if they reached the semifinals of the World Baseball Classic. The decision to exempt athletes from military service was an extremely controversial one, and after this, public outrage ensued. The government has since scaled back on exemptions. Current regulations state that there will be special treatment given to any and all athletes who win medals in the Olympic Games or gold medals in the Asian Games. But rather than a complete exemption from military service, they are placed in grade 4 to be enlisted for supplemental service or the second citizen service rather than active duty service, unless they are an exception.
So it means like they don't have to go to war.
Yeah, I guess if there's a war, they're not required to go.
So they still have to like
You
do
still
the
go through all
service.
the training. Yeah, all the training is still required that you go through. I'm assuming that from what they're saying, if there were to be a war, they wouldn't go.
Okay, I gotcha.
Exceptional case, they will not be placed in grade 6. Exempt. While grade 4 is better than active military service, they still have to do 4 weeks of basic military training and attend a few days of annual military training for the next few years. Aside from that, they're pretty much free to continue their own sports careers until their service is over. While complete exemptions have been scaled back, we have seen a few in recent years, including 2008 Olympic gold medalist badminton player Lee Young-dae, 2011 swimming world champion Park Tae-won, a 2014 Asian Games gold medalist tennis player Chung Hyun, and of course Sun Hong-min, a 2018 Asian Games gold medalist football player, just to name a few. While the exemption is controversial, a strong argument can be made that when it comes to sports, 2 or more years of military service during that person's prime could be detrimental to their career and even end it prematurely. I mean, countless news articles documented Son Heung-min's career hanging in the balance when the Asian Games were coming to an end. And look how happy he was when he did win, not just because he won the Asian Games, but also because he didn't have to risk losing his entire career. The same thing, however, can...
That's nice that they let them finish out what they've worked so hard for
Right.
their whole entire life.
Oh, yeah.
You know, not to take that away from them for 2 years of military
Absolutely.
service. They can always do it after, you know?
Well, so not to take anything away from a musician doing this, but you have to think about the potential for injury. Like when you're doing that kind of training, military training, like a lot of people do get injured. So think about it as a professional athlete, you know, you can't afford an injury.
You get an ACL tear,
Yeah,
so you can't
it's-
play soccer anymore.
You're
you
done.
can't tennis,
You're out.
everything.
Yeah. So,
I mean,
you know, I mean, it sucks even as a musician to have an injury, but you still have your voice or hopefully your ability to, you know, whatever it is, play drums and stuff.
well, I think the only thing that like BTS would lose out on if they like hurt their, you know, tore
Dancing.
their dancing would be the big
that
one.
would be difficult.
But at least they could still sing and write lyrics and stuff,
yeah,
and they still
play
have,
instruments.
you know, a job. Whereas like these guys solely rely on their bodies,
Yeah.
you know, just their bodies.
You get any kind of major injury and
over.
you're out. It's done.
It's a wrap.
Not be said about K-pop stars. While violinists, pianists, and ballet performers have received an exemption for military service in the past, it has never been the case with actors, directors, and yes, K-pop stars. Popular in the late 90s and early 2000s, Yoo Sung-jun, also commonly known as Steve Yu, is one such K-pop star who wasn't exempt from the draft and decided he didn't want to serve in the military. Starting his career in 1997, Yu was the face of the K-pop industry, before there really was much of an industry. He won countless music awards and consistently topped the Korean chart.
If you want to enlist, I thought it was mandatory.
Yeah, I thought it was mandatory.
So why
how
would
do
you
opt?
even need to enlist if it's mandatory?
Well, I think he's opting himself out. I don't know if it's legal. We're going to find out in a minute.
Yeah.
You know, who knows? Maybe he got arrested.
It's kind of weird, right? Like, it's mandatory that you do this, so why would I need to enlist if you're going to force me to go anyways,
Yeah, doesn't make sense.
right?
Charts. But in 2002, right before he was supposed to enlist for mandatory service, he emigrated to the United States and became a naturalized American citizen.
That's how he got
Little
out
did
of
he know that this decision would completely end his music career in Korea. The government considered this an act of treason, deported him,
Wow.
and banned him from ever entering Korea again.
Oh,
Immediately after,
man.
Yu applied for a Korean visa at the Los Angeles South Korean consulate, which was promptly denied. In 2015, he appealed to the Korean court to reverse the decision to deny his visa, appearing on video, pleading on his hands and knees, saying that he'll do whatever it takes to be accepted back into Korea, but he was denied once again. He tried to appeal it a final time in 2017, but after a court hearing, he was denied once more, and he is no longer allowed to appeal his entry ban. Miraculously, in 2019, the Korean Supreme Court sent Yu's previously...
I mean, it's kind of like running away from like a big responsibility that everybody else does.
Yeah, everybody did it and you ran away from it. And now you want everybody to give you another chance to come back. And it's like, I don't think so, buddy.
Do the ladies have
Screwed
to have mandatory as well? Because I know Lisa went into military, but she's from Thailand.
Yeah, that's totally different.
But I don't know.
I
I don't know if it's mandatory over there either. Because I mean, she's a female. She was in the military, so is it? I wonder if it's like that in Korea too, where women have to go in.
I had a friend that was from Israel, and she even went in the military and said it was mandatory.
Oh, Israel for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen them before, but I was just curious about
Yeah, I don't know.
Korea having the same.
Yeah, I don't know what the standard is for women over there, if it is mandatory or if it's something they elect to do themselves.
Yeah.
closed case back to the Seoul High Court to review, stating that the law has no restrictions preventing Steve Yu from visiting South Korea. Soon after, an appeals court reversed its earlier decision in favor of Yu, which could eventually allow him back into South Korea if all goes well with the Seoul High Court. This remains to be seen, however, and despite being banned 18 years ago, evading military service is so looked down upon by the Korean public that 70% of Koreans still believe Yu should be banned.
Wow. They.
Perhaps the
Yeah,
most
they're not taking
high-profile
that.
Korean celebrities to have served in the military so far have been G-Dragon and the rest of Big Bang. They played smart, and nearly all of them chose to enlist in 2018, with the exception of T.O.P., who enlisted in 2017. This resulted in the band returning nearly all at the same time in 2019, only a few months apart from each other. So what can be done in BTS's case?
Yo, I wonder if in the military, like when they have downtime, if they perform for the soldiers.
Probably. I mean,
That's like
they're
fun.
performers. That's what you do.
Yeah.
That's just part of who you are. So I would imagine they're singing, dancing, like just having a good time, for any little bit of downtime they do have.
Because like here in America, they hire like comedians and stuff to come
go out
and
to the military bases.
yeah, just to like show everybody a good time.
Oh,
and
I'm
stuff,
sure
so.
they do, man.
Everybody's like, "Yo, BTS is here with us."
Yeah.
Like, "Yo, we should go and perform." That'd be
Yeah.
crazy.
Here are 5 possible options that I've listed from option A to option E. Option A is exemption, of course, which is preferable. This would allow BTS to continue to perform together with no mandatory military service. However, this option is already off the table due to the Defense Ministry's unyielding policy of no exemptions for pop stars. So let's move on to option B. Option B, one after another. If we assume that each member waits to turn 28 to enlist, similar to what we can assume Jin is doing, here's a timeline we can follow. And these are all just estimates based on their birth year. The order of enlistment and return may vary. 2020, Jin leaves. BTS is 6. 2021, Suga leaves. 5 members left. 2022, J-Hope and RM leave. Jin and Suga return. 5 members left. In 2023, Jimin and V leave, and J-Hope returns. Depending on who leaves first, we could either have 3 members or 4 members during this time. In 2024, RM returns. 5 members. In 2025, Jimin and V return. Jungkook leaves. 6 members. In 2027, Jungkook returns, and BTS is 7 again. There are several strange things that will happen to the group if they choose to enlist one after another. First off, for some of 2022, until Suga returns,
That's nice though, because so they got 3 members 2022, 3 members 2023, which is what we're in right now, and then basically in the next few months we're gonna have 5, almost the whole group
Right.
back, and then 2025 we'll have everybody back. That's good.
Well, 2027, everybody would be back.
Oh shit! Yeah, you're right. You're right.
they won't even have a rapper, with the remaining members being Jin, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. In 2023, there's a chance that BTS will only have 3 members, with Jin, Suga, and Jungkook. And finally, there may be a chance we see an OT7 reunion for about 3 brief months from June to September of 2025, right before Jungkook leaves. But after that, there'll only be 6 until 2027. That's 7 whole years from now. Option C is what I'll call the Big Bang maneuver. They all enlist together at nearly the same time. This will require the entire group going on a 2-year hiatus and returning again all at the same time. It was possible for Big Bang considering that all 4 members were born within 3 years of each other, but with BTS having 7 members that have an age range of 6 years, it just seems a lot to ask considering that the youngest member, Jungkook, will only be 23 by the time Jin needs to enlist. That's practically the prime for idols. Again, it's possible, but not really probable. Option D is what I will call the Fentone solution, posted by Quora user Daniel Fentone while doing research for this video. He suggests that the enlistment can be staggered and done in 2 to 3 staggered groups, with the groups having at least 1 rapper and 1 vocalist, 1 English speaker, and 1 golden. This ensures that there will always be a group ready for concerts and promotions, as well as a comeback by 2023. Now, option E is... Are you ready? Wait until the draft is abolished or Korea is reunified. Now, for either of those, don't hold your breath. But it is possible. No matter what option BTS chooses, Jin says he's ready to serve, as is the sacred duty of every South Korean citizen.
Dude, I respect that so much that, they took it upon themselves to
Right.
not let the army or the military or the industry push them into it. They were like, no, we're gonna do
we're
it.
gonna go do our part.
Dude, I respect
Serve our
that.
country.
I respect that so much.
뭐 만약에 결정되더라도 정말 좋은 모습을 보여드리기 위해 노력하고 있습니다.
Now, what do you think they'll do? What do you think the future holds for BTS? If there's a suggestion that hasn't been discussed in the video, let me know in the comments. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, hit the thumbs up, smash the subscribe button, and keep yourself posted for the next one. And remember, a day may come when we lose, but it is not today. Today, we fight.
I love that guy's videos.
Yeah,
Man.
that's cool, man.
Always puts out the best content.
That was really interesting.
Damn, dude. Well, I don't know. I just really hope when they come back, it's like they have like way more content, and it's just like even crazier because of the stuff they've gone through in the military.
Well, that's what I was going to say. All the experiences that they've learned from being in the military. I mean, I'm sure they're going to have a whole new outlook on life, you know, and come up with some really, really cool content.
You know, Sugar's gonna come out with some dark shit.
Right?
You know who he is. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit that bell notification for more. If you want to see a ton of content that's not on YouTube exclusively for you guys, jump over to Patreon, giving away a week for free. So go over there, check that out. Also, you can vote on the songs for the following week. That's in the voting polls. And also, guys, if you could help us out and go over to GoFundMe, it would mean the world to us. Just sprinkle a little bit of love in there for us. It would mean the world. All right, guys. We will see you on the next one.
That's it.
Peace.
Peace.